I have reasonable grounds to believe, on the basis of evidence collected and examined by my office, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant bear criminal responsibility for the following international crimes: starvation of civilians as a method of warfare, willfully causing great suffering, serious injury to body or health or cruel treatment, willful killing or murder, and intentionally directing attacks against a civilian population, as well as crimes against humanity of extermination and or murder, persecution, and allegations of crimes of committing other inhumane acts. It's alleged that these crimes were committed in the context of the ongoing armed conflict and as part of a widespread and systematic attack against the civilian population of Gaza, pursuant to a state policy.
The outrageous decision by the ICC prosecutor, Karim Khan, to seek arrest warrants against the democratically elected leaders of Israel is a moral outrage of historic proportions. It will cast an everlasting mark of shame on the international court. Israel is waging a just war against Hamas, a genocidal terrorist organization that perpetrated the worst attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Hamas massacred 1,200 Jews, raped Jewish women, burned Jewish babies, took hundreds hostage. Now, in the face of these horrors, Mr. Khan creates a twisted and false moral equivalence between the leaders of Israel and the henchmen of Hamas. This is like creating a moral equivalence after September 11th between President Bush and Osama bin Laden, or during World War II between FDR and Hitler. What a travesty of justice, what a disgrace. The prosecutor's absurd charges against me and Israel's defense minister are merely an attempt to deny Israel the basic right of self-defense. And I assure you of one thing, this attempt will utterly fail. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were totally defenseless against our enemies. Those days are over. Now the Jewish people have a state, and we have an army to defend our state. Notwithstanding the blood libels Mr. Khan has leveled, Israel will continue to wage this war in full compliance with international law. We will continue to take unprecedented measures to get innocent civilians out of harm's way and to ensure that humanitarian assistance reaches those in need in Gaza. Mr. Khan also sets a dangerous precedent that undermines every democracy's right to defend itself against terror organizations and aggressors. The ICC has no jurisdiction over Israel, and Mr. Khan's actions will not stop us from waging our just war against Hamas. But Mr. Khan's abuse of this authority will turn the ICC into nothing more than a farce.
An Israeli official has been indicted by a Clark County grand jury. News 3's James King joins us from the live desk with the crime that he's believed to have committed and what is next. James?
Marie, the indictment of Israeli official Tom Alexandrovich is related to a sex-sting operation conducted by Metro Police and other agencies. He was one of 8 suspects arrested in that operation. Now, according to those arrest reports, he is accused of using online platforms to meet a juvenile in Las Vegas. Today, he was indicted for luring children with the use of technology with the intent to engage in sex. Alexandrovich was arrested on August 6th after allegedly attempting to meet a 15-year-old girl and was then taken into custody but released the following day after posting a $10,000 bail. Now, News 3 spoke with attorney Ron Zambrano prior to the Israeli official's first scheduled appearance in court, who said that even if he is found guilty, it's unlikely he'll serve time in the U.S.
What I believe will happen is that there'll be some attempts to do formal charges and do a trial, but he's currently not in the U.S., and I doubt the Israeli government will allow its own foreign national to be sent back to Nevada for purposes of serving any sentence, assuming there is a conviction.
Now, last month, he appeared in court virtually. He's set to be back in court on October 15th. And of course, News 3 will keep you updated as the trial progresses. From the live desk, James King for News 3.
James, thank you for that update.
Last month, a guy by the name of Tom Alexandrovich, the head of cybersecurity in Netanyahu's government, he was caught in Nevada in a FBI sting child sex operation, trying to lure a 15-year-old minor. That guy was protected by the DA, who's Israeli, by the way, in Nevada, and he went on the plane and he missed his trial. Not a single mainstream outlet talk about Tom Alexandrovich. So now you have pedophiles coming into our countries. You have seen those independent media out. The question is, when you have this cover up by the FBI, when the FBI let a pedophile from Israel flies back to Israel, while also Israel is known to be holding the biggest number of pedophiles escaping from justice, having refuge there, doesn't make you like, what the hell? This is like a whole cover up.
After serving just under half of his 60-day sentence, disgraced Waco attorney Adam Hoffman is free tonight. News 10's Madison Herber has more on how this happened.
Adam, you want to stop visiting with us for a few minutes?
No thanks, I'm heading home.
You want to say anything about how this blew up? All this story blew up around you?
I'd like to go home.
Our managing editor, Tommy Witherspoon, and chief photographer, Brad Vaughn, caught Hoffman as he was leaving jail today. The former attorney had no desire to speak to us about his case, trial, or early release.
Appreciate y'all visiting with me.
He got into the black truck that picked him up, and just like that, he was free. According to county officials, a jail sentence serves like a 2-for-1, meaning each day actually counts as 2, which is how Hoffman managed to serve only 29 days of the 60-day sentence. Originally, Hoffman could have faced a life sentence, but Hoffman's charges were reduced when he agreed to a plea deal, and he did not have to become a registered sex offender or lose his bar license. And if there wasn't an uproar about his lessened sentence 29 days ago,
it's not fair.
There certainly is now. Our Facebook page is on fire with questions, concerns, and outrage. McKinney State Representative Jeff Leach joined family friends of the victim on the front steps of the McLennan County Courthouse after the sentencing to share what they want to do to protect the community.
You cannot enter into a plea agreement that allows someone that is still a present threat to children specifically to go free. You just can't. So there are things that we can put in law that take certain things off the table in plea agreements and plea negotiations. One of which in this case would be allowing him to skate by keeping his state law license and by having to not register as a sex offender.
Hoffman won't have to lose his bar license, but he will, at the judge's insistence, not be able to practice for 5 years. But he has since moved to Nebraska, and it's unclear if he will pursue law there or at all in the future. Reporting in Waco, Madison Herber, KWTX.
I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a biolab that got discovered in Las Vegas.
I remember this.
Spoiler alert, the Israeli guy running it, they just let go. Good.
I was afraid.
Let's watch this.
New court documents allege multiple people became deathly ill after spending time at an illegal biolab inside a Las Vegas home.
Our investigators identified a significant volume of material, including various vials and storage containers with liquids of different colors and compositions.
According to newly released court records, police were tipped off by a former cleaning employee who told investigators she entered the garage, which was usually locked, and found refrigerators, freezers, glass beakers with reddish liquid, and equipment she believed was lab-related, along with a foul, stagnant smell. She told police she and a handyman both got deathly ill days later, suffering breathing issues, extreme fatigue, and muscle aches. She allegedly told police others who lived in the home, renting rooms off of sites like Airbnb, became sick as well. Authorities arrested the property manager, Ori Solomon, who now faces state and federal charges, including improper disposal of hazardous waste tied to biological agents. Investigators say the case may be linked to another illegal biolab discovered in California, allegedly run by a Chinese national arrested in 2023.
That defendant has pleaded not guilty and is awaiting trial, but so far officials have not released test results from the seized materials. Now that's been sent to a secure lab in Maryland. Authorities say the investigation is ongoing and they warn the public there is no known active threat at this time.
Okay, well, the guy was...
I'm sure they'll be forthcoming about what they were making in there.
The guy was Ori Solomon. He's got that kind of calm confidence that seems like he knows they could find little kids in that freezer and he would face no consequences.
Interesting name for a guy that looks like he's from Singapore or something.
Oh, turns out federal charges have been dropped against Ori Solomon. The mysterious Israeli property manager linked to an illegal biolab found at a short-term rental in East Las Vegas. He still faces Clark County criminal charge for the improper disposal of hazardous waste. You know, if if he would have just had little kids in that freezer, he'd already be home back in the homeland.
Yeah.
So let's watch. Here's another news report on it.
Federal court, there were no cameras allowed inside, so we're showing you some photos released of Solomon as we walk through exactly what has happened. A federal judge releasing him this afternoon, saying he's not considered a flight risk.
They released him.
He's not a flight risk. We know where he's going, to Israel.
Or a danger to the community under current conditions. Prosecutors say Solomon is in the United States on a non-immigrant visa, meaning he's not legally allowed to possess firearms, but investigators say multiple guns were found during searches tied to this case. As part of his release, Solomon must surrender any passports and cannot apply for new international travel documents. He's also prohibited from possessing any firearms or weapons, and his travel is restricted to the continental United States.
And his initial charge was a charge of disposing and discharging hazardous waste. Solomon is believed to be the property manager for both houses on Sugar Springs and Temple View.
And as you just heard there, police say Solomon is believed to be the property manager for the two homes searched, where investigators reported finding suspected biological materials and lab equipment. At this point, authorities say testing on those materials is still underway, and it is not yet clear, of course, exactly what they contain. Solomon is also facing a state hazardous waste charge that we'll be tracking. Investigators say the broader investigation into all of this is still ongoing. Reporting in downtown Las Vegas, I'm Melissa.
Oh, they found multiple Israeli and French passports besides the illegal gun. So I wonder if we'll ever figure out what country he was working for.
Well, Kurt, it says right here he is consistently described in news reports as a 55-year-old Israeli citizen or an Israeli national who was living in the United States on a non-immigrant visa. He also holds a French passport, making him a dual Israeli-French citizen in some accounts.
Oh, he manages a lot of short-term rentals the way you would if you ran an intelligence front. And yeah.
I just want to remind you what happened to the last Israeli national who got caught in a pedo scheme in Las Vegas. So, an undercover operation targeting child predators in Las Vegas Valley over 2 weeks resulted in the arrest of 8 individuals. And guess who one of them was? It was this guy, Tom Alexandrovich, who is the head of digital security for Netanyahu.
Oh, good.
And
Did he make those cool AIs?
And guess what they did with him? They let him go. Update regarding the Israeli official who tried to have SEX with a child in Vegas, then fled to Israel after meeting with the NSA. The U.S. Attorney General who released him is Israeli-born Sigal Chattah. Makes sense now, especially given the fact that Vegas was effectively built by the Adelson gambling empire. The entire city is an Israeli operation. LOL to the guys who think what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens in Vegas likely winds up stored in a file in Israel, in a godforsaken country of blackmail, murder, and child abuse.
Yeah, Sigal Chattah, recall, Jimmy, was that crazy lady with that insane political ad in Vegas?
This is her here. Sigal Chattah, the acting U.S. attorney who enabled the flight of an accused Israeli child predator and cyber spy, Tom Alexandrovich. She campaigned for Nevada's attorney general by boasting of her Israeli citizenship and pushing crass hatred of Muslims. Her campaign was called Israeli Born.
Yeah, she tried to blame Rachel Wolfson in this comic, her dad, who had nothing to do with it. Remember when they asked how they tried to pin it on him? He literally couldn't have been the guy released. It was her.
So anyway, I want to show you. Here's how Fox News covered this. Watch what they don't mention when they cover this, Kurt. Watch this.
New at 2, we're half past the hour. A possible biological lab inside a Las Vegas home now under investigation. A federal investigation. Agents seizing vials of unknown liquids and probing a potential link to a Chinese national accused of running a similar lab in California that held deadly pathogens. Our senior national correspondent William Lajeunesse is reporting live on this out of Los Angeles for us. Hello, William.
Well, Sandra, 2 amazing things about this story. One, the man who owns that Vegas lab, he's a Chinese scientist linked to the CCP, is and has been in jail the last 3 years. Secondly, the lab is not an FDA licensed facility, but it's in a house in Vegas raided Saturday morning by the FBI, SWAT pulling out boxes of what police believe.
I'll cut to the chase. They talk about it being a Chinese guy, a guy who's been in prison since 23, not the Israeli national who's running it. They never mention the Israeli guy, ever.
Why would Fox ever do a thing like that?
They never mention the Israeli guy.
Here, China.
I'll play you the rest.
Are hazardous biological agents and pathogens normally found in a secure university or industrial lab with airlocks designed to prevent an outbreak.
Almost immediately, investigators observed multiple refrigerators, a freezer, and other laboratory-type equipment, along with numerous bottles and jugs containing unknown liquid substances.
So the Vegas lab, according to police, belongs to 62-year-old Zhu Baiju, a Chinese national and a fugitive who also goes by the alias David He. He was arrested in 2023 for manufacturing unlicensed medical devices and lying about unapproved HIV and pregnancy test kits that he was selling. He also operated this illicit biolab in an abandoned warehouse in Reedley, California, where investigators found thousands of vials of blood and tissue, 1,000 genetically engineered mice designed to carry the COVID virus, and CDC tests did show the vials contained HIV, COVID, hepatitis, herpes, and malaria. Police arrested Zhu, and he's been in jail ever since. Congressional investigators linked the lab to the Chinese Communist Party, a tie that also suggests the same people are behind the Vegas lab.
What do we think?
They never mention the Israeli guy who ran it, who got arrested for it. They never mention it. Amazing. Wow.